Today, we're talking about skills that you need to maximize your income. Now, there are a lot of different things you could do. You know, there's stuff with your vehicle, there's advertising, there's many ways that you can maximize income from different angles, right? So we gotta break it down. So today we're just gonna focus on certain skills that you need, right? Certain skills, some are tangible, some are intangible. Because sometimes we get in our own heads, man, and we think that the only way to maximize profits or to make more money is to either spend more, to get a cleaner truck or a bigger, better truck, get your truck wrapped and all that, and just spend that kind of money. That's not the case at all. If that was the case, me and my little refrigerator magnet wouldn't be doing well, right? That's just the truth. And this applies to what I do in the handyman business, but this thing is not really specific to just what I do. This is really across the board. So let's get into it. All right, first things first, learn your tools. Learn your tools. Learn your tools is huge. And I put it first for a reason, because I think a lot of guys, we go out there and we don't really maximize our skills. You know, the tool is there to help you to get the job done, but it doesn't replace the skill, like the human skill that's involved, the accuracy. You know, you learn your tools, you learn, you know, I said before in a video where there was a time I needed a miter saw for any angle cut, right? I'm talking about, I'm doing framing and stuff like that. And I needed a miter saw for everything. And I'm like, man, these framers are out here, man, they're cutting 2x12s just with a dead line with no square. Now, it might take a while for me to get to that point, but that don't mean you don't try it, right? So you gotta get yourself to a point where you could cut these angles and cut these lines straight and learn how to work your tools right so you can have the results that you want. So say with your tools specifically, meaning that you purchase the tool, don't just use it and then put it to the side. Like really understand it. Understand what that blade is doing. Understand the kerf that blade is taking out and how, you know, what side of the line it needs to be on when you're cutting. You know, maybe even the thickness of that curve, you know, depending on what you're using it on, especially with a table saw. There's times I use it to cut out tracks and things where it's a little smaller and easier for me since I don't have a router table. I use my table saw to cut lines sometimes for things like, for instance, if I'm doing a door jamb, right, and I have some wood rot that I have to fix. Sometimes maybe the outside piece of trim I'm replacing. So on something like that, I'll use a table saw to create a channel for the weather stripping, for that door to go back in. It's those little things like that where, you know, I understand the curve of my saw blade and the thickness of it. So where I run that saw blade, I can really make that channel for what I need it to be. All these different things just come from using your tools, so that you might not have to replace them as early as you think you do, because you have other tools that you can substitute for that tool. Like I said, you don't need the miter saw at first because you have your circular saw and you've created your skills to be good enough to use it in place of a miter saw in a lot of circumstances. So then maybe you might be able to, depending on what your jobs that you're doing, you might be able to save that money on that miter saw and get a track saw. And that track saw, that combination of the track saw and the circular saw, it might cover you for literally most of the things that you do. And what this will allow you to do is do more jobs with less tools. So where there's a lot of situations now I'll be in where I don't even have to take the trailer. I know I can fill up a bag and take certain tools and I'm like, do I need the whole trailer? No. I can leave the trailer because I've maximized my skills on some of these other tools where I can take on bigger jobs with less tools involved. Really learning your tools also allows you to walk in. Like you can walk into a job and I'm trying to tell you, it's like you start to see it differently. It's like you're in the Matrix. You know what I mean? Reading the ones and zeros or something. You're like, okay, I can do this. I'm trying to figure out this door frame. Okay, well, you know what? They don't make this, so I can actually make this piece of trim myself. If I have a planer and I have a table saw and I have this, and you can start to see because you know what your tools can do. All right, that track for this situation over here, all right, maybe I could use the router, I could do, it allows you to start to open up, to start understanding the possibilities. Learn how to use the different tools that you have They don't have to be the most expensive, the most pricey tools, but you need to know how to use them to get the job done efficiently. The next thing you need to do is stay a student, right? Keep learning, just keep learning. I know some of y'all like, okay, yeah, he's saying keep learning, like big deal. No, that's actually a big deal. It's a big deal. Y'all know the statistics on how many people never read a book after they get out of high school? Like ever? There are people who literally shut it off, stop learning, and then if it's not right in front of their face, they don't learn anything. Like straight up. Straight up, it's very unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Now, I know most of the people that are finding these videos aren't like that, because I mean, believe it or not, I believe like we're all kind of one of a kind, because we are the people that are out here still pursuing knowledge, that are looking for information. But you gotta expand it is what I'm saying. If you do what I do, if you're a handyman slash contractor, depending on how you look at it, I've said it many times that yes, I'm a handyman. I'm also considered a contractor. But technically, I'm a contractor that just subcontracts all the work to myself. So, how you look at it, whether a contractor, handyman, that's what it is, right? But if you're gonna do that, then you can't be the guy that kind of knows this and kind of knows that thing a little bit. Like, you gotta know it. You'd be surprised how many plumbing jobs I've been to where somebody used the wrong glue. Like, and the whole leak is because somebody didn't know what glue to use. They just went and picked up regular cement or something and was using CPVC, right? Or they used CPVC, but they instantly turned the water back on as soon as they were finished with it and didn't give it the proper amount of time to cure and turn the hot water back on. And then and it just weakened the joint and then it just exploded later. So many times. That's in plumbing. Electrical. I don't know how many, just stuff that's wired wrong, boxes that are full to capacity. I always said this, if you're gonna offer services changing light fixtures or outlets or whatever, and all you know is black, hot, and white, neutral, and it goes to the black and the white, and you connect the two together, and that's all you know, just leave the people's stuff alone and call somebody that knows what they're doing. Because you're gonna burn somebody's house down, or you're gonna cause a bigger problem just because you don't want to learn more, right? It doesn't stop there. I've seen it in so many situations. I've seen how many times have I seen people hook up copper wire to aluminum wire and just twist it in the cap. Oh, then I go in there and the cap is melted in the box and the stuff doesn't work. And people really thought that they had to get new ovens. People are getting like, I'm there to put a new oven in. I go to the box. Well, the oven's fine. It's just all the wires are melted inside of here because whoever did the electrical didn't know what they were doing. And I'm not saying they're always handymen, right? Like we gotta stop that. Or they just didn't care enough. You gotta learn, man. You gotta learn what's going on out here. It doesn't matter if it specifically pertains to you. I'm not saying you gotta learn every detail. I don't know every detail being a plumber, but I know basics. I think there's basics that everybody should know, especially if you're gonna offer multiple services. You can't offer those services halfway. You gotta know what glues, what foams to use, when to use certain things. How many times in doing carpentry have I found that what caused the issue was whoever in the beginning used like the wrong fasteners, right? So they were just using the regular nickel plated fasteners for everything, and then they all rusted out and then helped to rot the wood later. And then now I'm replacing everything not because stuff went bad, because either the person didn't know or they just didn't care. I'm gonna go on, maybe they just didn't know. So we need more people out here to stay educated. I think that's what a lot of people here are doing. I do it all the time. I watch videos on stuff that has nothing to do with my business. It's just, I'm interested. I'm interested in the new materials or just learning what's going on. Don't be ignorant, man. Don't be ignorant. This is gonna be like an after school special. Kids, don't do drugs. Don't be out here handymaning without any knowledge. Knowledge is king, all right? Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. Keep learning, man. Stay a student. Now, I always say you gotta be a self-starter. That's just hands down. In order to thrive and be successful in this, you gotta be a self-starter. That's a skill, but it's a need, like it's a necessary thing. If you can't get work done without people telling you to do it, I mean, you're not gonna be in business for long at all. But so that's one of them, but it's not really a core one because to me, that's just a necessary part of being in this business. I think more so is the skill part is creating your systems. Now, remember I said some things are tangible and some are intangible, right? So yeah, learning your tools and doing that sort of thing, that's all those tangible skills that you need. But sometimes you need the intangibles. The intangibles are what make you a professional when you interact with the customer, right? I don't care if it's commercial. I don't care if it's another business that you're working with. I don't care. I don't care if it's a homeowner, if it's property managers, whatever it is, it's all the things that's in your system, your presentation, your responses, just that whole thing, communication. What I mean by that is when people see you, you don't want them to see you as the homie, that dude up the street. Y'all always hear me talking about Earl and them. I think there's a place for Earl and them, and Chuck and all of them. There's a place for these guys. But you don't want to be associated as the same. You don't want to be boxed in with them. So when you come, they'll tell you dress decent. You don't have to wear a suit. You're doing overkill. You want to look like a contractor. You want to look like a handyman, but not one that's been working, unless you've been working all day. And when I do that, I tell them straight up, yeah, I get off. I might have a clean shirt, but I might have some dirt on my pants or something. And I tell them, yeah, man, this is what I've been doing all day. So excuse my appearance, just to let them know. But most of the time, if I'm showing up clean with a button-up shirt. I'm showing up with all the little gadgets to do my measurements. If I'm doing tile or something like that, I take a level in as well, so I can measure the walls and see how flat the walls are. You just take everything. I told you before, I got a little tablet with me, so I can, take my tablet out, write everything down, take pictures, take voice notes, like all sorts of things in these apps. And you already know about the sponsor of this video, man, the greatest CRM in the world, Jobber. CRM, Customer Relations Management. Customer Relations Management. It's so big in business that it is like it's intangible, but it's tangible at the same time. It's one of those things, like I've been to a lot of customers' houses where they'll show me another person's estimate. They do it. It's not all the time, but I see them. And I'm seeing like sometimes they're writing contracts down on loose leaf. You know what I'm saying? Like just scribbling, we in cursive, we writing this stuff down, and here, sign here. And that's what we're doing. Here's the description. And it's like, the people call me up like, nah, I'm looking at it like, I don't know. And it's like, you know. Because with me, and with Jobber, you get everything digitally, right? I text and email every single document. All of them. Anytime I need something, it's got my letterhead, my logo in there, my name, my number, like everything's on the estimate or on the quote. It allows you to build your contract right into it, which is great. If you want them to sign when they approve it, they can sign right on their phone. And I always put a little message, man, a customer message, where I give them all the little details of how they can pay and how this whole situation works and how scheduling works. It's all in there, and it's all through Jobber. Hit the link, it's in the description. I'm telling you, it's a free trial. You won't regret it. When you combine all those things together, even when I text a lot of times, I include pictures. And so I can give them an understanding of what I'm talking about and everything. Like there's so many different ways that you can communicate, that you can get across your message and in a professional way. And that's the biggest thing. It's all those other things with being on time and how your system works with that, how you deal with materials. Like you need to get that, you need to hone in on how you work. That's where a big difference is between most handymen and contractors is where, there's no way. Most guys who are plumbers, right? You're a plumbing guy, there's no way that you show up to the house and the person says, oh yeah, I got all the PVC, you don't need to use yours, I got mine already. Y'all would laugh at them, right? I mean, come on, electricians, like you come in and somebody's like, oh yeah, I already got all the wire, all the materials. I'll use my stuff, not yours. Man, please. Y'all be like, you crazy. And I get it. It's all about liability, right? And it's part of the business model is you providing the products. So I get it. And you using the stuff that you trust. I also do the same thing, right? I don't go to that extent because I do let people know what they need to buy if they want me to do the job. I've gotten to that point. So that is part of my process. Like, I'm not gonna use just cheap materials and cheap stuff to make the job harder on me. I gotta do it. I gotta stamp my name on it. You can buy it, save me a trip to the store, but you know, I still need you to buy this. But that's on you. That's on you. You gotta get your systems in place, your expectation every single time. Another way systems work is by, my man Ray does it over at Bulletproof Handyman. He's all about making kits. Now, I don't have many kits because I don't have a lot of repeat things. I do have, like, I was in Dishwasher City one time where I was just doing dishwashers, like 1 million dishwashers. So I did create a kit for dishwashers, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I just roll it in the house. It has everything you could possibly, for every scenario that you could possibly get into with a dishwasher. Systems, man, I'm telling you, create your systems. It'll turn you into a machine. Now this last one, it all depends on what you want to do, right? Here's what I think. The way I like to do things, and this is me personally. No, this is not something that everybody has to follow, right? This is just me. It's what I like to do. I started doing little jobs here and there, right? Little odd jobs and all that. But as I gained skills, and I would put myself out there, like I used to take jobs for less money so I could get practice at the job. Like I was that guy. But as I gained skills, I started to increase the complication level of the jobs that I was doing. So, look, man, let's be real. If you know how to assemble a bookcase, there's a ceiling. There's only so much somebody's gonna pay you to assemble a bookcase. Maybe I know there's gonna be a guy out there that said they get $500 per bookcase, because there's always that guy that gets $1 million every time they step foot out the door. But for most of us, the mere mortals, most people are not gonna pay you that much to assemble a bookcase. The issue with the smaller jobs, for me, is that you gotta find a lot of them. And you gotta find them for every day. And then it starts to get difficult because, you start thinking of the ratio. In order to get, 10 jobs, if we're being real and we're saying we want a, 30% acceptance rate, then that means that for every 100 jobs that we quote, we should be getting 30 of them. Well, if we're doing these little jobs where we need like 3 or 4 jobs a day, then bro, we're putting out 200, 300 quotes a month. I mean, maybe you can do that if you run in a machine. Like if you have a guy, just that's all they're doing is estimates. So say when I started doing finished carpentry work, right? At first it was like, I do flooring and I do quarter round and that was it. But then it was like, okay, well in this job, we want to remove the baseboards. Now there was a time when I would just try everything I could to remove the baseboards and put them back without damaging them. But then some people want to change them up. And it's like, well, you got to learn how to cut. You got to learn how to cut baseboards. So then learn how to cut baseboards. Then it's like, okay, well now I can do baseboards. And if I can do those cuts, I can do little board and batten and stuff like that. Stuff that's not super complicated, but needs a little more accuracy. Then I was like, man, I need to start learning how to do crown. So then I started crown. I started practicing that. I learned how to do some crown. Then I had learned how to paint on the way because I was doing a lot of paint jobs. So I was like, well, I'll just do it all. Right? So then I was able to start doing whole accent walls with crown and the paint. Then I got to the point where, okay, look, I'm gonna say it. I perfected drywall repair, right? I'm gonna say it, right? I ain't scared. Say what you want. But for where I live, I've got drywall repair down to a science. So what that allows me to do now is I can open the wall up. You see me install some recess lighting. So I can start adding these different things. Now with electrical, I kind of cheated on that one because I took electronics back in high school, and yes, electronics and electrical construction are different, but it's all the same principle, right? It's just you don't need to know all the little components. So all the IC chips and diodes and all the other stuff, I don't need any of that. I just need to know the basic principle of how this voltage is gonna work. And travel and series versus series parallel circuits and all that kind of stuff. So I came in, I already knew that. So you start putting all the pieces together, next thing you know, you're able to remodel a small bathroom. So you're able to now, and that's something that has a huge multiplier on it, which is when it comes to income potential, right? If you just change that toilet out, yeah, and it's just the perception. That's the crazy part. It is just the perception. So when you change that toilet out, it's not considered to be that big a deal, right? You change that sink out, it's not that big a deal. But especially if you're one person, you can come in and strip it all down, take the flooring out, take the baseboards and everything out, redo the whole thing, even take the tub out if you got your skills up like that. You take everything out and just do it yourself. Now, then you can start making some real money, right? The other way is fine though. If you have the system in place to get you to smaller jobs and to keep multiplying them. I mean, I know appliance guys that I've talked to in my area that do appliance repair that they don't do sealed systems, right? Because they don't have to. They get enough work from all the other issues that go on. They just don't need to do sealed systems, even though that's a big chunk of money that it would seem like, oh, they're leaving that out there. But no, they don't need it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get a little concerned about everybody's saying go in the trades, right? Go in the trades. And I start thinking like, yeah, I mean, that could happen. But what really happens, you have a lot of people that are like me in real life, and what that means is that I'm the type of person that I'll do it myself if I can. Even if it's difficult, I'll do all the research. When I used to have to work on my car back in the day because I was broke and I had no choice, all I had was that Haynes manual. And you had to be able to read and follow directions and make sure you get that right, understand you were able to interpret that right. Well, now you got people just showing you everything already, right? All steps, step 1, 2, 3, here, how to do this. I think eventually you're gonna have a situation where a lot of the little stuff people are gonna do themselves. I'm not saying everybody's gonna do it themselves, but there are a lot more people because they just can't afford it. So I wanna put you in a situation, or I like to be in a situation where I'm just not that easily replaceable. Yeah, where one day, nobody will pay me to put pictures up anymore, right? But when I walk into that bathroom at that person's house and I feel like I'm about to fall through the floor because their floor is soft and they got some issues like that, some wood rot, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? And for me, they don't even have to make multiple calls. They call me, I take it out to the subfloor, take everything out, and then put everything back. You know what I mean? Had the thing looking brand new. Because you come in, you combine all the skills together, man. What y'all know about Voltron? I don't know. Is there a little kid version of that? Like a new version for some of y'all youngsters? I don't know. Captain Planet? Nah, that's still old, man. That's my era, the 90s. I don't know. Something where all your skills come together and combine to just make one giant creature. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you need to truly maximize. And we're talking about a one-man shop here. We're not talking about a contractor, you hiring employees, because that might be different. You're maximizing, might be hiring somebody for this and hiring somebody for that, hiring an estimator or whatever. I'm talking about the mercenaries out here like me. Bring all your skills together, man. Learn all these things. Keep an ear to the street. Keep your eyes open and watch everything going on around you for new products and everything that's happening. And then before you know it, I'm telling you, you'll be a money-making machine. And that's what I'm talking about, man. Daryl, also known as a finisher. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.